The importance of diet and exercise for human wellness goes from womb to tomb. If pediatricians can speak to well babies, geriatricians can speak to well elders. The definition of healthy eating does change a little bit over time. For example, as you grow older, your metabolism slows down, so you need fewer calories than before. Conversely, your body needs more of certain nutrients, like calcium, plus vitamins D and B12. That means it's more important than ever to choose foods that give you the optimal nutritional value. There are many reasons why we tend to slow down and become more sedentary with age. It may be due to health problems, weight gain, pain issues, or worries about falling. Perhaps you are one of those misguided souls who think that exercise simply isn't for you. For better or for worse, as you grow older, an active lifestyle becomes more important than ever to your health. As you'll see here, getting up and moving about can help boost your energy, maintain your independence, protect your heart, and manage symptoms of illness or pain, as well as your weight. Moreover, regular exercise is also good for your mind, mood, and memory. No matter your age or your current physical condition, these tips on diet and exercise can show you simple, enjoyable ways to improve your health and outlook. In short, the wellness you deserve. Adopting a healthy lifestyle can be challenging today. Easy, cheap processed foods, often from countless fast food restaurants, have conspired to change our diet. In addition, fatigue from overwork promotes a sedentary lifestyle and stress that affects our health. It's important to recognize and pass along these significant benefits to living a healthy lifestyle. They include disease prevention. A healthy lifestyle reduces your chances of heart disease, stroke, diabetes, certain cancers, osteoporosis, arthritis, and other immune-related illnesses. Injury prevention. Wearing a bicycle helmet when bike riding, using seatbelts in the car, using appropriate safety gear when playing sports all reduce your chance of injury. Increased energy. Eating healthy and exercising boosts your energy levels and helps you participate in more activities. That's a cycle that will feed itself. To truly define healthy living for ourselves, we need to create a healthy living strategy and must be willing to make changes. To that end, list all your negative habits. Include those that contribute to your unhealthy lifestyle. For example, tobacco smoking, excessive alcohol consumption, too many fatty foods, too much physical inactivity. List your current health conditions. For example, being overweight or having high cholesterol. Create your new and improved healthy living plan. For example, how many times will you exercise in a week for at least 10 to 15 minutes? Prioritize. Don't make too many changes all at once. Start with, say, one change per week. At a comfortable pace, keep adding in new and improved change until you have achieved all your goals. Finally, make that commitment to change. From less weight to more energy, this slideshow shows how many of the easily achievable health benefits can be had. Let's review meal planning. A very simple and effective way to control your appetite is by eating healthier. You can choose the food you want. Just moderate your intake by being conscious of the food portions. Less is more in most cases here. You can eat larger portions in some cases. Just make sure it's something like low-starch vegetables. Meanwhile, you should eat smaller portions of starchy vegetables or other high-starch foods. Check out the FDA's food plate and remember how fruits and vegetables are joined by grains and proteins. If you actually plan meals for the upcoming week, you can shop accordingly. Those who don't plan and stock their shelves with healthy ingredients are often the ones who wind up pulling out the fried chips of the pantry after coming home from a hard day at work. Vegetables are low in fat and a choice option for meals or even as a snack. They are full of vitamins, minerals, and fiber. Some vegetables like potatoes, corn, peas, and beans have so much starch that they ought to be counted with the breads, grains, and starches group. Recommended vegetable portions are 3 to 5 per day. One portion is considered to be 1 cup of raw vegetables or a half cup of cooked vegetables. When loading up your grocery cart with a variety of veggies, which one should you reach for? For a particularly big nutritional punch, WebMD recommends this cream of the crop. beets, beet greens, watercress, Swiss chard, collard greens, asparagus, spinach, peas, red bell pepper, broccolis, and of course avocados and microgreens. Microgreens, that's the baby versions of radishes, cabbages, kale, and broccoli that can be higher in nutrients like vitamins C and E than the regular mature plants. Scientifically and botanically speaking, all fruit or fruits are part of the vegetable kingdom. Vegetables and fruits are only separated in the culinary world. For our purposes, one can define a fruit as a seed-bearing structure that develops from the ovary of a flowering plant. Meanwhile, vegetables here are all other plants such as roots, leaves, and stems. By those standards, celiac growths such as apples, avocados, squash, cucumbers, pumpkins, and yes, tomatoes are all categorized as fruits. Recommended portions are between 2 to 4 per day. 1 portion equals 1/2 cup of canned fruit, or 1 small fresh fruit, or 2 spoons of dried fruit. Fruits contain carbohydrates which provide energy and regulate blood glucose. Fruit and or vegetable, they're both vital for human intake of potassium, vitamin A, folate, vitamin C, fiber, and magnesium. Moreover, try blueberries, citrus fruit, cranberries, and strawberries for phytochemicals that are now being studied for added health benefits. If you can tolerate them, dairy foods such as milk, yogurt, and cheese provide several important nutrients in the diet, especially calcium. Dairy food nutrients help ensure normal body functioning and lower the risk of developing a variety of health problems. Besides calcium, dairy foods contain needed protein plus vitamins B and D. Consciously choose dairy products that are non-fat or low-fat. Although flavored drinks such as chocolate and strawberry contribute the same nutrients to the diet as does plain milk, they also add extra calories from the sugar. Dairy portions should be between 2 and 3 servings per day. 1 portion is equivalent to 1 cup of yogurt or 1 cup of low-fat or non-fat milk. As far as meats, meat substitutes, and other protein-rich foods, there's no doubt that protein is absolutely vital to our overall health. Protein forms the foundation of your skin, hair, nails, bones, muscles, and cartilage. Protein is vital for the growth and repair of tissue cells, as well as production of important hormones and enzymes. Protein also aids in weight loss, preserves bone mass, helps maintain normal blood sugars, and boosts brain function. A protein deficiency can cause symptoms like flaky skin, brittle nails, fluid accumulation, loss of muscle mass, and even a weakened immune system. It's generally recommended to get at least 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight, which translates into roughly 0.36 grams of protein for every pound of body weight. For example, someone who weighs 150 pounds or 68 kilograms might require approximately 54 grams of protein per day. For Americans, the 1-ounce portions are described on this slide. You'll see there's lots of tasty options. As takeaways, please remember to always include beef, chicken, turkey, fish, eggs, tofu, cheese, cottage cheese, and/or peanut butter into your diet. Recognize how these foods are good sources of needed protein, vitamins, and minerals, and consciously choose meats that are low in fat like chicken and fish, and then cut out all that visible fat. Fats, oils, and sugars are an important topic. Let's start with glucose. It's a form of sugar that is the primary source of energy for every cell in the human body. Because the brain is so rich in nerve cells or neurons, it is the most energy-demanding organ and demands 1/2 of all the sugar energy in our bodies. Unfortunately, too much of this energy source can be a bad thing and can lead to diabetes, which is a group of diseases in which blood glucose levels are persistently too high for too long. Energizing natural sugars are found in fruit as fructose and in dairy products such as milk and cheese as lactose. They keep the body healthy and can help stifle disease. Refined sugar comes from sugar cane or sugar beets as sucrose. We use white and brown sugars to sweeten cakes and cookies, coffee, cereal, and even fruit itself. Food manufacturers add chemically produced sugar, typically high fructose corn syrup, to foods and beverages including crackers, flavored yogurt, tomato sauce, and salad dressing. Sometimes low-fat foods are the worst offenders as manufacturers use sugar to add flavor. By the way, it's not how much fat you eat that's important, it's what kind of fat. As best scientists can tell, trans fats found in foods like margarine contribute to cardiovascular disease, whereas unsaturated fats found in vegetable oils and fish actually have the opposite effect, lowering the risk of cardiovascular disease. Saturated fats found in butter and red meat fall somewhere in between. Even though they taste good, always keep in mind how these fried foods contain too much fat. Such culinary villains as French fries, candies, cookies, cakes, crackers are simply too high in oils and sugars. Substitute in healthier foods like grains and vegetables whenever possible. Some common portions are detailed above, while more are described in the following slide. The bottom line is, for fats, oils, and sugars, simply keep them to small portions and for special occasions. We've constantly touched upon healthy food dose sizes as we've gone along. In summation, here's a handy visual as to what proper portions can look like. One portion of protein pretty much equals the size of a bar of soap. One portion of starch is about the size of a hockey puck. Fruit portions should be about the size of a baseball. Vegetable portions should be about the size of a small fist. Meanwhile, dairy in the form of cheese should equal a half a dozen dice. Begin your healthy eating by picking different fruits and vegetables. Balance your meals by mixing dairy, fruits, vegetables, and starches. Finally, stick to the recommended portion sizes for a healthy, balanced meal. Food technology is the application of food science to the selection, preservation, processing, packaging, distribution, and use of safe food. Food science is the physical, biological, and chemical makeup of food, and where possible, the concepts underlying food processing. As healthcare providers, we can't control the technology, but we should know the science. Thus, before we leave the food plate, let's enjoy a dietetic expert's 2-minute crash course on the food sciences.
I weigh about 80 kilograms. Most of that, let's say 64%, is water, though you can't tell by looking. I mean, as organisms go, I like to think that I look fairly solid. After water, the next largest proportion of me is protein, about 16%. Not just in my muscles, but also in things like the tiny sodium-potassium pumps in my neurons, and the hemoglobin in my blood, and the enzymes driving the chemical reactions in every one of my 37 trillion cells. Then another 16% of me is fat, which I'm totally okay with. 4% of me is minerals, like the calcium and phosphorus in my bones and the iron in my blood, and 1% is carbohydrates, most of which is either being consumed as I talk to you or is sitting around as glycogen waiting to be used. But here's the thing, it's not like I just ate 80 kilograms of food and then all this happened. Instead, my body, like yours, is constantly acquiring stuff, extracting some of it to keep, burning some of it for energy, and getting rid of the rest. But even the stuff that my body does hold on to doesn't last forever. Some of the chemicals that I absorb in my food eventually become a part of me, but enzymes wear out and membranes break down and DNA gets oxidized, so they get discarded. And then I need more of those chemicals to reconstruct the material that I've lost. As a result, over the course of my lifetime, my cells will synthesize somewhere between 225 and 450 kilograms of protein. That's like 3 or 4 or 5 separate me's just made of protein. And all the protein and fat and carbohydrates and nucleic acids that make up me, of course, come from food. Every organism has to keep taking in and breaking down food to keep resupplying itself with the raw materials it needs to survive. And all that activity requires energy, which we also gain from food. So how do our bodies actually convert what we eat into energy and raw materials? The answer is a never-ending series of reactions that are dedicated to doing two vital and totally contradictory things. One set of chemical reactions destroys the reactants that you give them, reducing big, complex substances into molecular rubble, and the other set reassembles that rubble into new and bigger products that are put together again to make you. So our bodies are constantly reinventing themselves themselves in a perpetual state of loss, but also always rebuilding. And even though all of this is happening at the cellular level, its consequences could hardly be larger. These two sets of reactions are where everything that we've learned so far about the digestive, endocrine, circulatory, and respiratory systems really starts to come together. Together, these processes make up your metabolism.
It should come as no surprise that food is only one part of the equation. In adopting a healthy lifestyle, it is important to incorporate physical activity. Such activity is movement that involves the contraction of muscles. Activities that we do around the house are good examples of physical activity, and they include gardening, housework, climbing stairs, walking, and so on. Exercise is a form of physical activity that is planned, purposeful, and helps the recipient become physically fit. Some examples ideal for outside the home are walking, swimming, running, and cycling. Those one can do alone. With helpful friends, you can visit the gym or park or tennis court. Often the social aspect will keep you engaged for longer sessions over a lengthier period of time. One doesn't have to run marathons or deadlift heavy weights. Most physical activity is light or moderate. That's when you can probably talk while doing that activity. Though for cardiovascular benefit, more strenuous physical activity is recommended. That's when you probably need to stop to catch your breath doing the activity. Before any extreme workout regimens are undertook, new weekend warriors should always consult with their healthcare providers. Physical activity improves your overall health by helping to lower your blood pressure, burning calories, which can help you to lose weight, toning muscles and bones to help prevent osteoporosis, muscle atrophy, plus chronic diseases like type 2 diabetes, stroke, arthritis, some cancers, and even heart disease. Physical activity simply makes the exerciser look and feel better. It also boosts energy, improves mood, and promotes better sleep. And hey, don't forget how it's a fun way of spending time with your friends and family. Proper balance when standing or moving is the result of a number of body systems working together in unison. The eyes, which are your visual system, ears, which are your vestibular system, and the body's sense of where it is in time and space, called proprioception, ideally need to be intact and fully functional. Having good balance is important for many activities we do every day, such as walking and going up and down the stairs. Exercises that improve balance can prevent falls, a common problem in older adults and stroke patients. A lot of lower body strength training exercises can improve your balance. These balance exercises can help to prevent injuries from falls, can be designed to strengthen specific areas like the upper thighs, are good for beginners to exercise or for those who are recovering and want to start exercising again, and can be done sitting, lying down, or holding onto objects like the back of a chair. Endurance exercises, also known as aerobic training, are activities that will increase your heart rate, work on your muscles, and raise your breathing rate. Endurance exercises work to lower glucose levels and improve cardiovascular fitness. Moreover, regular aerobic exercise conditions the heart to pump blood to the entire body. Endurance exercises can include brisk walking, swimming, cycling, and/or jogging. Basketball is especially good as you don't just run and throw and jump and catch, but do so in every direction, including up. Wearable technology is in now, and many like to count their steps using watch-type devices. Moreover, their apps allow you to track your heart rate, water intake, sleep hours, body weight, stairs climbed, distance traveled, and more. Some euphemistically call this workout type cardio, and it is great for the heart. Still, endurance is just one part of the equation with balance, flexibility, and resistance exercises. Resistance exercises are also known as weightlifting or strength training. They can be done by pumping weights and/or stretching resistance bands. As a minimum, the American College of Sports Medicine recommends that individuals execute resistance training 2 to 3 days per week for one set of 8 to 10 reps and at least one exercise for every major muscle group. That's not asking much, and it can be accomplished in the comfort of your own home. When done regularly, strength training can help build bone density and muscle mass, which helps preserve your strength, independence, and energy. Strengthening exercises crank up your metabolic rate, which helps control and maintain body weight and blood glucose. This training also reduces signs and symptoms of hypertension, arthritis, depression, diabetes, osteoporosis, heart disease, obesity, and back pain. It can also help with sleep, balance, endurance, and flexibility. Speaking of flexibility, the human body adapts to the movements you most frequently make. The corollary is that your body adapts to the movements you don't make by not making those movements anymore. That's why people of all ages who want more forgiving hamstrings or hip joints need to stand up, sit up, squat, walk, and change positions throughout the day. While stretching doesn't actually make muscles permanently longer, such exercises as reaching for your toes train the nervous system to tolerate a greater degree of muscle extension without firing off pain signals. That's why a person under anesthesia whose nerves are quieted can be stretched through a full range of motion with no resistance. Meanwhile, healthy babies are born able to do the splits because they haven't yet developed a blueprint for ranges of motion that feel unsafe. For our purposes, flexibility exercises, also called stretching, help keep your joints bendable and reduce your chances of injury during day-to-day activities. They may also prevent or help in the recovery from injuries. Gentle stretching for 5 to 10 minutes helps your body warm up and cool down before and after exercising. The bottom line is that stretching works because it loads an extended muscle with more force, which then tells the nervous system that the muscle can be strong and safe at your level of activity. Stretch, sweat, repeat. We know the science behind and the benefits of exercise. We know the importance of balance, endurance, resistance, and flexibility training. Now it's time to put it all together, either in a formal setting like joining an existing gym group, or more informally by starting your own private group. When it comes to starting a group activity, choose aerobic activities that work for you. Deploy vigorous actions which make your heart beat faster and makes your heart, lungs, and blood vessels stronger. Choose strengthening exercises that make your muscles do more work than usual. And finally, perform flexible activities before starting any physical activity regimen to warm up and to prevent injury. As far as how to start a physical activity program, always check with your doctor before starting any exercise course. Pick an activity that will fit into your life and lifestyle. Do at least 10 minutes of physical activity on or about 3 days a week. Do a little more each time, then do it more often. Include vigorous activities. Be sure to spread your activity throughout the week for a goal of 2.5 hours of moderate physical activity every 7 days, which is approximately 30 minutes per day. Don't overdo it, especially at the start. But the sooner one does start, the sooner the benefits can kick in. Before physical activity, we discuss diet and nutrition in detail. Together, they can often increase a patient's wellness far beyond that of any artificial drug. Unfortunately, primary care professionals at home and community health workers in the field experienced a dilemma. Even though the patient was recognized as central in disease management, they're often reluctant to change to help themselves, and that is a major barrier to corrective treatment. A typical patient in South Texas is detailed above. At 60, she's not that old, but still presents with potential obesity, lethargy, and dementia with memory problems. You know, diabetes is an epidemic, and how a time and money-consuming blood test could confirm or rule that out. As a smart shortcut, you start with questions about lifestyle choices. She not only admits to eating cheap and easy fast food at least 5 times a week, but confirms it's fried, greasy, and fruit and veggie challenged. That satisfies her hunger, but makes her feel like just sitting down and watching TV afterwards. You point out there's no magic pill for the bad loop she has fallen into. To break that cycle, she must take the responsibility to change her eating habits from what her tongue likes to what her body needs. Eating healthier will make her feel better, which will make exercising easier. You point out how, in the long run, your prescription of better food and more exercise is easier and cheaper than daily trips for those Big Macs. She'll feel better for herself and live longer for her loved ones. As far as her memory, Extra nutrients and sweat should help there, for what's good for the heart is good for the brain. While there is some inevitable cognitive and memory decline over time, it can be slowed by wellness techniques including proper sleep, hydration, social interaction, and the two most focused on here, nutrition and exercise. Suggest she walk her dog more often and remind her how, after noticing the St. Anthony cross draped over her neck, God-made plants are better for you than man-made pills. You give the Senora a bilingual brochure and point out how you'll be back to check on her progress. As we've seen here, lifestyle medicine is the evidence-based practice of helping individuals and families adopt behavior that improves health and quality of life. It focuses on diet and nutrition, exercise, stress management, and where applicable, the elimination of tobacco and excessive alcohol use. For the past century, the standard medical school curriculum has required spending only a few days in 4 years discussing how diet and nutrition affects both wellness and the risk of disease progression. With training like this, we want to go past the predominant medical approach, which is mostly focused on lab tests, medication, and surgery. In the same way that cars are designed to operate on specific kinds of fuel, so is the human vessel designed to operate on certain kinds of foods. Over thousands of years, our bodies have become optimized to a specific type of diet. That primitive but proven food regimen allows our bodies to maintain health and maximize longevity. Finally, individual decisions on nutrition and exercise will either take us on the path to wellness or on the path to disease. One can fittingly call this a fork in the road. Fortunately, it's a junction where the best direction to take is now obvious. Thank you.